إذا سألتوني عن الكريبتو كورنسيز أو العملات الرقمية عندي رؤيتي الخاصة، ويمكن هذا نابع من الفترة الطويلة اللي قضيتها بأسواق المال التقليدية. فالأشخاص اللي بيشتروا الكريبتو كورنسيز ما بيشتروها استناداً على الأرباح أو العائد الاستثماري اللي راح يحققوها منها. مثلاً بالأصول التقليدية وقت بيرتفع قيمة الأصل مثلاً لأداء الشركة أو ميزانيتها العمومية الجيدة بترتفع قيمة السهم فيها. بينما بالكريبتو هذا الشيء لا ينطبق ببساطة لأنه العملات الرقمية ما بيرتبط بأي شيء بيحدد قيمتها كالمنتج أو الميزانية العمومية للشركة إلى آخره إلا بتقنية البلوك تشين المبنية عليها. يعني لا عائد استثماري من وراها مثل اللي بنسميه بالإنجليزي there is no dividends. اللي بيحدد سعر العملات الرقمية هو الهايب أو الضجة حواليها من الناس والميديا، وهذا الشيء هو اللي بيرفع لها سعرها بشكل كبير أو بينزله بشكل دراماتيكي، ولهيك بنشوفها عرضة للتقلبات الحادة. والناس اللي ما بتعرف الفرق بين ديناميكية الأصول التقليدية والكريبتو بتخسر فلوسها نتيجة هالتقلبات. وكمان كل من يؤمن بالعملات الرقمية بظن أن التعاملات فيها أفضل وأسهل من التعاملات البنكية التقليدية، خصوصاً إذا عم نحكي عن التحويلات العابرة للحدود. بس هالتعاملات بالكريبتو بيجي معاها الست من المخاطر والتعقيدات. فكروا مثلاً إنه التعاملات على البلوك تشين ممكن تخضع للتأخير والرسوم العالية وحتى ازدحام الشبكة وقت يكون الطلب عليها عالي. هذه واحدة من الأشياء. شغلة ثانية أساسية إنه هالتحويلات بتسهل عمليات غسل الأموال ومن الصعب تتبعها من السلطات الأمنية نظراً للديسنترلايزد نيتشر أو عدم وجود سلطة مركزية للكريبتو كورنسيز. هذا غير إن البيئة التنظيمية للكريبتو لساتها بتتشكل، يعني ممكن نشوف تداعيات قانونية وضريبية لاستخدام الكريبتو. يعني بعد التفكير والتدقيق والحديث بيني وبين حالي، هل الكريبتو كورنسي هي وسيلة استثمارية لتجمعوا أول مليون لإلكم؟ تابعوني الليلة. السنة الماضية واللي قبلها كانت كأننا عم نقود سيارة على طريق جبلية خطرة كلها مطبات بعالم الكريبتو كورنسيز، كانت مليئة بعمليات الاحتيال وانخفاض الأسعار. حتى المحللين شككوا بقدرة العملات الرقمية على الصمود والبقاء. مع هيك وعلى عكس توقعات، سوق الكريبتو كورنسي ما انهار وظل محافظ على قيمته السوقية اللي بتبلغ 1.05 تريليون دولار. تعرفوا إنه 320 مليون شخص حول العالم بيستخدموا الكريبتو كورنسيز؟ إذا بدنا نحكي عن وضع السوق بهالأيام، كثير محللين بيعتبروا إننا بشتاء الكريبتو. خليني أشارككم تحليلي للسوق. البير ماركت أو السوق الهابطة بالعملات الرقمية كان سبب التضخم العالمي وانتشار عمليات الاحتيال وانعدام الثقة بالمنتوجات المرتبطة بالكريبتو كورنسيز، وهي مش أول مرة بيكون هيك وضع السوق. الكريبتو كورنسيز هبط 3 مرات وبكل مرة كانت تضل هي الحالة لأكثر من 20 شهر، وهالشيء تسبب بانخفاض بقيمة هالعملات بأكثر من 70%. أما الانخفاض الحالي بسعر الكريبتو واللي صار له أكثر من 350 يوم تسبب فيه سقوط نظام منصة الدفع تيرا وانهيار منصة تداول FTX وكمية عمليات السحب الضخمة اللي قام فيها المستخدمين، وأكيد كمان الخوف وعدم اليقين والشك الكبير. بالأيام الأخيرة كانت القيمة السوقية للعملات الرقمية عند مستويات أقل من 65% من أعلى مستوياتها سنة 2021. بتسألوني هل الوضع كارثي؟ أبداً. في كمان أخبار إيجابية، لأنه بمنتصف شهر يناير كانت عملة البيتكوين 10% فقط أقل من متوسطها المتحرك لمدة 300 يوم، وهذا بحسب المحللين مؤشر لنهاية الهبوط. وبيتوقعوا أنه البيتكوين راح يتعافى ب 2023 ويوصل ل 35 ألف دولار بنهاية السنة. واللي بيخليهم يقولوا هيك هو عدة عوامل. أولها الإجراءات التنظيمية اللي عم بتصير عالميا، ثانيا وقف رفع أسعار الفائدة الفيدرالية مؤقتا، وأكيد مدى ارتياح المستخدمين لشراء الكريبتو. في شيء اسمه البيتكوين هالفين أو تنصيف البيتكوين اللي بيصير مرة كل 4 سنين، وهو عبارة عن تخفيض معدل إصدار عملات البيتكوين. بال 2016 وال 2020 لما صار في تنصيف للبيتكوين قفزت بسنة واحدة أسعارها وزاد الطلب عليها، وعلى هالحالة البيتكوين هالفين القادم متوقع يكون ببداية 2024. مع كل اللي حكيته عن أسواق العملات الرقمية، أنا شخصياً ما كثير عندي إيمان بالكريبتو كورنسيز، بس العكس ينطبق على البلوك تشين. ليش؟ لأني أؤمن بالتكنولوجيا. شوفوا معي هذا التقرير.
ما هي تقنية سلسلة الكتل البلوك تشين؟ هي سجل إلكتروني مشترك وآني ومشفر وعلني وغير مركزي، يسمح بتخزين قواعد البيانات ومشاركتها داخل شبكة أعمال. تخزين البيانات يكون في كتل مرتبطة ببعضها البعض ضمن سلسلة، وهذه الكتل تكون متسقة زمنياً. ونظراً لأن دفتر النظام موزع عبر أجهزة كمبيوتر متعددة، فمن الصعب جداً اختراق البلوكتشين والتلاعب به، ولا يمكن لأي جهة حذف السلسلة أو تعديل أي جزء منها دون توافق الشبكة. فليس هناك من شخص أو جهة واحدة مسؤولة عن السلسلة بأكملها، بل هي مفتوحة للجميع، ويتم التحقق من كل معاملة تتم بداخلها بواسطة عدة مشاركين في الشبكة. كما يمكن لأي كان مشاهدة تفاصيل كل سجل وتتبع معلوماته. العديد من العملات الرقمية مبنية على تقنية البلوكتشين. لماذا؟ لأن أهم مزاياها الشفافية والأمان.
هلأ يمكن عم تسألوا هل الآن هو الوقت المناسب للاستثمار في سوق العملات الرقمية؟ بالنسبة لي أنا ما بشوف إن العملات الرقمية أداة استثمار، بشوفها أقرب لتكون أداة تداول ومضاربة لجني الأرباح على المدى القصير. المتداولين فيهم يشتروا ويبيعوا الكريبتو بمنصات العملات الرقمية ويستفيدوا من تحركات الأسعار السريعة. بس انتبهوا، التداول بده مهارة ومعرفة ودراسة أكثر من الاستثمار طويل الأجل. ولنكتسب معرفة أعمق عن الموضوع، ضيفي اليوم هو من الوجوه المعروفة بعالم الكريبتو كرنسي. شوفوا مين معانا.
جيتو كاتاريا، الشريك المؤسس والرئيس التنفيذي لشركة ديجيتال فاينانشال اكسشينج DIFX، مستثمر مهتم في كل ما يتعلق بالتمويل الرقمي والخدمات المصرفية الاستثمارية، وعمل كمستشار مالي للمكاتب العائلية في الشرق الأوسط وجنوب شرق آسيا.
Hello, Jito.
Hello, Asta.
Thank you so much for coming today and for joining us. You are one of the most successful hedge fund traders, and you're one of the greatest, founders of one of the most innovative exchange, DIFX exchange, right?
Thank you.
What makes DIFX different than any other exchange?
Our vision was to create a cross-asset exchange wherein we allow users to trade on all the assets across in a Web3 environment. So it was almost 3 years journey of development. It was a bootstrap company, full stack development, every line of code written by our team, which almost 80% sits in UAE. And we created a cross-asset exchange. So we allow users to trade all the assets, which is commodities, stocks, indices across the globe, along with their crypto assets, and with one of the largest custodian backing it at the back end, wherein each and every vault, whenever a user onboards, a vault is created on one of the largest custodian in the world, which is the most secured one right now. And this is how we protect users' funds. So that's unique about DIFX, that it's a cross-asset exchange in a Web3 environment.
So today, if I do have a Tesla stock, for example, in the platform, I can convert it to a crypto, for example, to Bitcoin?
You can sell Tesla and you can convert it into crypto.
Wow, amazing. You don't see that a lot.
Yes.
But how, as DIFX, you cope up with what happened with FTX right now? A lot of investors really felt like, they would take off all of their assets from other exchanges, and they felt like we cannot today be putting our money elsewhere. So what is the strategy for DIFX?
I'm trading on these assets since last 7 years. Have been traded on few of the largest exchanges across the globe till 2019, but I went niche into all these exchange infrastructure, that how they were working back in 2019. I felt that it is a need of hour for me to create my own platform and have a custodian where I can keep the funds of these family offices. That's where we saw that what happened with FTX. For example, I have an account on FTX. I can see the funds in my account.
Did you lose your money on FTX?
We don't trade on any of the exchanges. Basically, we have a custodian and we match the settlements from custodian to custodian. So even if one of the largest exchanges go burst, I'll not be having an issue with my user base.
Yeah.
So, and on the contrary, post FTX, we have seen at least 30% jump on our user base just because of few things which we have. A unique on our exchange, which includes a nomination program on blockchain, wherein we were awarded for a small tech which we built in 2022, wherein we allow users to nominate their family members on blockchain. If anything happens to them, all the assets what they have on our platform all the assets can be transferred to their family members. And that's a platform which I feel few of the largest exchanges would have done 5 years back when they started.
100%.
But it was not a regulated platform initially for all these exchanges, and now every exchange is talking about how we can do nominations, but they haven't done it. It's a manual process which they are doing. But we were the first exchange to automate that whole process.
You know, in our community, like of traders, a lot of traders decided to hedge against inflation buying gold, and they decided to hedge against crypto buying gold, for example. What do you advise, like, people today? Do you advise them to buy crypto? Because I know that crypto is like in a down markets right now, and a lot of you find like a lot of the biggest holders are keeping their shares, but everybody else is like running out of it.
I bought my first Bitcoin back in 2015.
When there was the crash.
It was a crash at that time. I have seen that journey when it went from $500 to $3,000, came back again. From 3,000 went up to 20,000, again came back to 3,600. From that it moved to 70, and now it is at 25. So I have seen that graph and journey. But for me, in last 7 years, the digital assets have been the best performer in all the asset classes. I'm an asset manager. I have been managing assets all my life since last 15 years. But the digital assets, if you play well, in a secured manner, not in a trading manner, because the investor always gains but a trader always loses. That's what my thought process is.
So you advise to invest?
I advise to invest. If you are doing an SIP with your mutual funds, if you are putting into stocks, gold, I think at least 5 to 10% of your portfolio should go into the larger digital assets.
Which cryptocurrencies you would advise people to buy?
I think there is a disclaimer, but we cannot advise users to buy what assets they should buy. But like we buy the larger assets, as a layman, if I'm new to the market, I can go with the biggest one, Bitcoin and Ether, and I can have a monthly SIP.
How do you advise people to choose the best trading platform according to them? So you said that their portfolio should be like between 10 to 12% on crypto assets. However, when they do that, they have to go through multiple, platforms, one for CFDs and one for cryptos, versus FX is giving you that leverage to do the two. So how do they choose, or how can they choose the best trading platform?
As a trader, I personally feel that whenever you're going on the platform, you should diversify your risk not only on one single platform, but on multiple platforms. And you can look for the team who is running the platform. Do they have a monopoly, or there is a healthy competition in the market, in the platform? How are your funds secured? Do they have, in the digital space, what I see that who's the custodian at the back end, who's backing the wallets? Do they have their own custody, or they have a custodian who's not into any exchange, lend, borrow? It's a pure custodian. That's what I see in terms of do they have a professional team? Are my funds secured? Do they have a
professional team, you mean the team behind the
team
exchange?
Behind it? What is the succession plan? Apart from that, what are the asset classes I can trade on these exchanges or the platforms? So that's what important is for me, at least. That for me, the main painful task when I was trading was switching between the assets. If I need to buy gold, selling my Bitcoin, I do sell Bitcoin in cash in the bank, then go on the different platform, or I have to keep a massive liquidity on different platforms if I need to trade. So if I get a single platform where I can trade all my assets, I can hedge my positions, I can buy stocks, I can buy indices, I can buy digital assets, and how ease of business I have, that's what important is for me.
Awesome. We do have today a guest with us in the studio who he's a brilliant, in terms of businesses, he has launched a couple of startups, but he would like to know more about tokens and, other digital assets. Shall we welcome today to invite, to advise him?
Sure, absolutely.
Let's do that. Thank you, Jito.
Thank you.
أهلين فيك طارق.
أهلا.
بس قبل ما نبلش حديثنا خلينا نتعرف على مين هو طارق. Welcome, Tariq.
Thanks for having me.
What's your story with security tokens?
All right. My story in crypto started back in 2017. I was trading. as the usual story, like everyone else, to make some money.
Right after Jito has started.
Yeah. So I have less experience with the roller coaster than he has. Yeah, I lost less money, obviously.
In trading, not in investing.
In trading, yeah. In 2020, I went in investing because the market was very much down and Bitcoin survived the crash. So I thought it's time to get in, and I started investing. Then in 2021...
You started investing or trading?
No, investing. I was trading before, then I started like, okay, I'm going to hold this time. Because back in 2017, I was buying and selling. I didn't believe in it. It's just...
like day trading or swing trading?
Like, speculating.
Okay.
Basically, yeah. FOMO.
Are you against speculation?
No.
That's how we started, by the way.
I cannot be against speculation.
Yeah.
But yes, I believe in investing more than speculation.
By the way, like Bitcoin and other crypto assets came into publicity because of speculation, because people made money from that. So it's a necessary move in the market to get track, right? So in 2021, I decided this thing has a future, right? Like Web3, I studied about it, and it's good. Like it has many use cases. For example, real estate, which is like $300 trillion asset capital all over the world, and it could be on blockchain. Why not? I mean, blockchain has a very use case for authenticating ownership, right? And real estate could be a very good example with that. So I thought, okay, I'm gonna start a platform where people can tokenize real assets and put them on the blockchain, and mostly real estate, right? The technology is there, it's fantastic, easy to do. Marketing is good, I mean, people love the idea, but...
Regulations?
Yeah, exactly. The basic problem is that, like, who owns the title deeds, and who says who owns what? Who has the database? It's the governments, right? So how to get the governments to to release the database that they have and put it on the blockchain? You know,
you are sitting in a country, I think, which is...
It's the only country that's trying to do that.
Moving in a direction wherein I believe I have seen the regulations across the globe, including Switzerland, Estonia, and many other countries. And what I have seen, the way UAE has transformed in the last 3 years, post-pandemic especially, I think they are bound to become a blockchain capital of the world going forward, with largest company, absolutely. And if you see the use cases of Bitcoins, use cases of blockchain, which is happening across the globe, it is the time wherein we were in the internet stage, wherein lots of companies were transforming into a real use cases, wherein what I have seen, if you're talking about real estate, I'll tell you what has happened in past. There was a project in UAE which was bought by a few investors, few hedge funds actually, and that whole investment as an asset went into a trustee company back in Switzerland, and they came out with a security token wherein a rental yield was given to their set of investors, and they bought a security token. So that was done as a use case wherein a real estate asset, physical asset, went on the blockchain, a security token was created, and it was sold as a rental yield. And now there are lots of regulations coming in. It's a time wherein we have seen last year that largest of the largest centralized exchanges and largest of the largest decentralized finance protocol went burst. And now I personally feel it will be a combination of CEX and ReFi, which is a regulated finance, and with one of the topmost regulators sitting in UAE, which is Abu Dhabi, and now Waraa coming out with full regulations on each and every asset on the digital side. They have came out with the regulations on security tokens, on what is termed as a security token. I feel the government will adapt. Even the land departments over here will have the blockchain integrated on their system, but I think they are waiting for, a zero knowledge blockchain wherein the customer identity or the transaction hashes are not in the public domain to have that privacy in the system. So
Yeah, it's really interesting point. I would like to add to that. After the crash that happened with FTX, I think regulators don't find, they have to regulate the ecosystem, right?
Absolutely.
Why governments don't make blockchains that solve this problem? Why don't they own the blockchain?
If you go into niche segments, we have been working with lots of government in education departments wherein the contracts are given to different vendors and everything is on blockchain. The monitoring process is happening on blockchain. We have worked with the government wherein they have different casinos and they need to monitor. So based on the taxation policy on the casinos, they were not able to monitor that how much actual revenues they are generating.
I think it all comes back to taxes, right?
Absolutely.
So if you figure out the tax problem, you figure out the...
So we have done that. We have done with the casinos wherein the whole casino systems went onto blockchain for the government to monitor the transactions.
Exactly, because blockchain is good for governments because everything is documented.
Absolutely.
Like nobody can tamper with the data. No, there's no fraud there.
There's a lot of news and media is like talking about how a lot of governments are trying to launch their own digital currencies, and I think there's a huge market for that.
It's a CBDC, which there are many governments who have already launched it, including China, India, and I think that will be majorly.
Money, right?
But CBDC, I personally feel, will be majorly for government-to-government transactions and the intra-settlements, what they will be doing. It will not go niche into where the actual digital assets are happening.
I feel it's for UBIs.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much for joining us today, and thank you so much, Jeitu, for joining us and giving us your expertise.
Thank you. Pleasure meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
يمكن صارت الصورة أوضح عندكم عن الكريبتو كورنسيز، بس قبل ما تقرروا تشتروا خذوا مني هالكم نصيحة بمليون. أولاً ما تستثمروا بمبلغ ممكن أنكم تخسروه ويأثر على ميزانيتكم أو وضعكم المالي. خلوا ببالكم أنه سوق العملات الرقمية كثير بيتقلب وفيه مخاطر. ثانياً فتحوا عيونكم جيداً وراقبوا السوق يوم بيوم لتضلوا على دراية بآخر المستجدات. سوق العملات الرقمية ديناميكي ومتغير بشكل كبير. ثالثاً لما تختاروا تشتروا عملة رقمية حاولوا تفهموا تقنية البلوكتشين المبنية عليها، لأنه أهمية الكريبتو كرنسي هي أساساً بتكنولوجيا البلوكتشين. رابعاً وآخر شيء، ومثل أي استثمار ثاني دائماً فكروا بالتنويع، ومن الأفضل والأضمن الاستثمار بأصول مختلفة إلى جانب العملات الرقمية. الكريبتو والبلوكتشين خطفوا الأضواء بعالم المال، حققوا أرباح كثيرة للبعض وأفلسوا كثير كمان. التجربة بالمغامرة مش غلط، لكن ادرسوا وضعكم وخطواتكم منيح ولا تخاطروا بمبالغ كبيرة. راقبوا وضع السوق بشكل مستمر، وهي بتكون خلطتنا لأول مليون.